Hi, welcome to another webisode of Screwed by Rockland County Courts. Today we have a guest, the captain, who has a web radio show. So welcome, Captain.
Welcome, Deb. Glad to be here today.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on. I wanted to speak with you and have you let the public know what you do because you devote so much of your time to getting the voices out there of all people that are being hurt by our system.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to get, again, your point of view on how you feel through all the experience that you've had having these people come on your wonderful show.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because there are still the majority of the American people do not know what is actually happening in our family courts, CPS, and even law enforcement, our medical community, what's happening in our schools. I didn't know it when I started my radio program 3 years ago. I just simply wanted to come on and deliver the news and give my take on the news. I had a lot in me and I just wanted to get out. Well, I read a little story about a little girl named Justina Pelletier, and I used to do my show in the morning.
Right.
And I knew immediately when I got off the air that this had to be much bigger than just one isolated incident. And I did some digging. And it didn't take me very long, and I found out how big it is. Well, every day I find out how much bigger it actually is. So it just fell on my lap. I did not go out looking for this. I had no idea that any of this stuff was going on. And then I said, okay, I've got to get a guest. Well, it took me a long time before I finally got to come on my show. They were all worried. You know, they all have gag orders, and you're not allowed to talk about it. You know, they're afraid. Well, I got one, and that's all it took. Then the floodgates open, and now people call me. I don't have to go looking for guests. They call me, and they say, hey, look, I'm being tyrannized. I've got this problem. I need a place to go. Well, you've got a home with me because I believe people need a place to speak.
Right, exactly.
Everybody, look, the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Without freedom of speech, all other freedoms are moot. Think about that.
That's very true.
You need your voice. And so I just simply give a voice to those because the shame stream media will not cover any of these stories. They will not cover the things that happen to you in your family court system. They won't cover that. They won't cover the real news. They'll cover Kim Kardashian and Kanye West and everybody else and anything else that actually has to do with the problems facing this country. And we can fix these problems, but it's going to take the American people to fix it. We can't expect our government to fix it. We can't expect the law enforcement. We can't expect the schools. We can't expect the medical community. And we certainly cannot expect the justice system to fix these problems. These are our problems. We allowed them to happen. So now it's up to us to fix them. And we have to do that through education. So I'm doing everything I can. And thank you, Deb, for what you do because you are informing the public. And that's what it takes.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just people, American citizens. You don't have to be a politician. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a professional. You just have to have common sense. And you want to get out and you want to inform the public. The public needs to be informed, and we are the only ones that are going to inform the public.
Exactly.
The shame stream media will not inform the public, period. That conversation's closed.
Right.
So it's up to us. And so it's people like you, Deb, people like me, and I got a lot of really good friends on Blog Talk Radio that inform the public. That's where you hear the news.
Right, exactly.
That's where you get the news. You get the news from people like us because we're not afraid to cover the news. We're not afraid to tell the truth. And that's what's missing in our society.
Right.
So.
But no, it's great to hear and listen to your show and hear so many people coming forward. And I think so many people speak of you and highly respect you and really appreciate that you give them that moment to have their voice be heard. And that means so much. And that's a way to get these stories out there and to make change.
Right.
Without it, if everybody just stays silent, there's no chance for change.
Right. Well, in order to get people to speak up, they've got to, they've got to be informed. There are people still today have no idea And when they hear stories like yours, Deb,
Mhm.
what's the first thing that pops into their head? Oh, well, she's got to be crazy. It's got to be her fault. Our justice system wouldn't do that. Our law enforcement wouldn't do that. Our medical community wouldn't do this. Our schools wouldn't do this. Nobody wants to believe the horrors that are facing the American people.
Right.
So it's out of mind, out of sight. And
Exactly.
you know what I mean? If they take it out of their mind, then they don't see it with their eyes. But it's
Right.
right there in front of us. All we have to do is open our eyes and pay attention. And we
Right.
have to help our neighbor. See, I'm one of the kinds of guys that if I see my neighbor getting attacked, well, I want to go over there and I want to help him before they come and attack me. And if you think for 1 second that you can't be the next victim, you just guaranteed yourself to be the next victim.
Right. Exactly. But what I think is people do not realize that this could be them one day.
Exactly.
There's many things that can bring you into court. It's not just a divorce or child custody. It could be
Right.
an accident, anything that can,
Anything, right.
any kind of legal thing that could come up that would bring you in front of a judge and in court. And then they would find themselves in that situation. And then all of a sudden it would become important then to them. So
Right.
what's so important, I think, going forward is that people that are not involved, not being hurt by it, should be, like you're saying, very well educated so that they are part of this. It's not just the people that are being harmed. It has to
Oh,
anger the people that are not being harmed that this is actually going on.
you just hit the nail right on the head. And I have said this countless times on my show. This war is not going to be won by the people that are the victims. And I know a lot of people don't like to use that word victim. I don't like to use it either. But
Right.
the problem is they are victimized. So for all intents and purposes, you're a victim. Well, this war is not going to be ended. It's not going to be won by the victim. It's going to be fought and won by those people that are not the victims. That's how we're going to have
Exactly.
to win this war. And you're right, 100%, Deb. That's
Right.
what it's going to take. And I, myself, I don't have any children. I've never been to family court.
Right.
But I see people that are tyrannized, and I'm just one of those kind of guys that I have to go out and I have to help. Look, we're all one big giant family.
Right.
That's what Americans are. I believe we only got one race in this country. And that's
Right.
the American race. We come in
Right.
every size, every shape, every color, every religion, everything. And
Right.
we need to respect that we are one race. I don't call people African American, Chinese American, Liechtensteinian American,
Right.
even though I got nothing but German in me. Blonde hair,
Right.
blue eyed crowd.
Right, right.
So
No, I feel the same way. I really, it's such a shame what's going on. So, and this is not a woman thing. This is not a man thing. This is
right.
not about if you're black, white, Asian, getting hurt by the system. It's become from the time that I started even doing this, where I came forward with my story in September. I never realized how huge this is. I looked at it from the standpoint of, look, this is happening to me. I knew it was happening to others, let's say in my court, but I didn't realize what was going on throughout the whole country. And since I came forward, I have met so many people, and so many people have contacted me, and that's how I even found you.
Right.
And I was so impressed by your show, and that you would take the time to really devote yourself to allowing people to be heard. And that's what should be going on in the courts. You should be allowed to be heard, and justice should be served.
Well, that's the problem.
And
There is no due process. And now
right,
I've got a guest coming on tomorrow. And because he works, I have to do my show at noon tomorrow, which is fine. Look, the whole point is he's got a story. He's got to get it out. His daughter and her husband, they've got a gag order. Now, did you get a gag order from your judge? Which I am so sick and tired of these unconstitutional gag orders. How can you
no,
not talk about your own family? This is
right,
your family. It's not their family.
right.
This
Well,
is your family.
no, I'm not involved in any of that. But genuinely, in my webisodes, I actually stay focused, and I discuss what goes on in the four walls of the courtroom,
Right.
my experience with forensic examiners, lawyers for the children, dealing with attorneys and
Right.
judges. I keep it focused that way versus bringing my personal life into it, because I think then that takes away from what's going on in the system. my case is my case, and if I choose to talk about it, let's say on the side, but I don't genuinely bring it into the webisodes because how will that help anybody? To be honest, I can, which I have in my webisodes, showed examples, documents of things that are just so out there that should not have happened. That
Well, I
was
think it shows what when people talk about the things that have happened to them, it does a couple of things. One, it tells the American people what is actually like what you talk about, what is actually going on in the courtroom, what is
right,
actually going on there, and it well, it actually helps other people as well, so they can, if they hear something that is said, well, it can be just that tiny little minute thing that was said that might prepare them so they can be more prepared and they can avoid that situation.
right,
Not all the time
exactly.
can you do it, but the more information that we have, the more information that's out there to the public. I mean, you can't get enough information.
Right, exactly.
There's no such thing as not enough. And Rockland County, I have had several guests on my show from Rockland County. That
Right.
is one of the absolute worst counties in the United States right now.
Mm.
I mean, it is in all counties, really. But I mean, Rockland County, it's not that big of a county either.
No, I know. I know, because someone also has reached out to me who's working on some kind of project, and they were interested in kind of using Rockland as the example of what's
Right.
going on throughout the whole country. Again, it's horrible, but I think it's so important that people do come forward,
Right.
whether, and I'm not against people telling their personal story. I've just chosen not to on my webisodes because I really want to keep it focused on the system, and again on attorneys, on forensics examiners, and what's going on and my experience with that, and sharing it with the public in hopes of helping others. So again, they are educated, like you're saying, and you can
Right.
never get educated enough.
No.
And let's face it, even throughout life, we're always learning.
Hmm.
You never stop learning till the day, let's say, you die.
Right.
So unless you're that type of personality that thinks they know it all, and I don't think I know it all.
No,
So
no, I've got so much to learn, and every night that I go on the air and I have a guest, I learn something new every
exactly.
single night. There's not
Right.
one show I've ever done where I didn't learn something. No,
Right.
but
Yeah, no. So yeah, it's very difficult, but it has to be done. So again, I commend all the people that come forward. I think it's great that you're giving so many people a voice, and I know so many people appreciate you and follow you, and I really respect you for that. And I
thank
and I truly, truly respect that you've come onto my webisode, and I will obviously keep in touch with you, and we
absolutely.
will definitely be doing stuff going forward.
Hey, we're warriors. We got to keep up the fight, and I can't stop. I'm busy from the time that I get up in the morning until the time I go to bed.
So, if someone wants to listen to your show, how would they reach out to you?
Okay. There's a couple of ways you can listen to the show. I get a lot of listeners through archive. I get a lot of people through your phone, and I get a lot of people on computer. If you want to listen to it on your computer, it's www.blogtalkradio.com
Right. Okay.
forward slash the capt, THECAPT. That's short for the captain. So it's
Right.
blogtalkradio.com forward slash the capt, or you can listen with your smartphone at 646 716 7978.
Right. Oh, that's great. This way, other people who are not aware of you now are.
You can also find me on Facebook. Just type in the captain. I'm under news personality. And
Right.
a lot of people have been using that now, and they are sending me notes after notes after notes.
Right.
I have never turned down anybody on my show. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to turn anybody down. I vet you a little bit, but the thing about it is, this is freedom of speech. You have the right to speak no matter what. I don't have to like your speech. I can hate your speech, but
Right.
there is no such thing as hate speech. You've got to get your voice out. So if you want
Right.
to come on, you've been tyrannized in any way, It doesn't matter by who, a government, justice system, Walmart greeters. It doesn't matter. If you've been tyrannized by anybody, you've got to get that story out. And if you want to come on my program, you're more than welcome. But if you don't want to come on my program, the point is you've got to call somebody. You've got to get that story out somewhere.
Right, exactly.
I'm not that egotistical where I have to have you as my guest. I want you as my guest, but I am more concerned that you get your story out there somewhere. But if you want to come on my show, I'm very easy to get a hold of, and you are more than welcome.
Right. Well, good. I just want to make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of you. And again, I appreciate you coming on, and I will be in touch. And again, thank you so, so much.
Well, thank you, Deb. I really appreciate you inviting me on your program, and keep up the good work. And you are doing very good work, Deb. So.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. You have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Please follow me on Facebook, Screwed by Rockland Courts. Subscribe to my Screwed by Rockland Courts YouTube channel. Twitter at Screw Rock Law, and on my website, screwedbyrocklandcourts.com. If you would like to email me, I can also be reached at screwedbyrocklandcourts@gmail.com.